Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be talking about patch 13.1 and the top lane tier list to go with it. So I've made a couple of adjustments and overall I've decided it would be a good idea to just redo the tier list. So I'm going to be covering a lot of things here, but I'm going to be doing it as quick as I can. If you enjoy the content, like and subscribe, and let's get into it. To begin with, there's one champion in the E tier. It's Shyvana. I contemplated taking Shyvana off the tier list as I just feel like she isn't played a lot in the top lane anymore, and her jungle strength has translated into nerfs, which has overall left her top lane in a pretty bad spot. So Shyvana is going to be the only champ making up the E tier. Let's move on. The next champ which I'm going to be putting down here is Gnar. Gnar is not doing well at the moment. This champion struggles into a lot of matchups for a champ which should really thrive into most things. He's a pretty blindable champion because he's safe, he's ranged, you can run fleet, D-shield, stuff like this on him. But overall, he just doesn't win. Like, his lane phase doesn't really translate into a lot of wins at the moment, and it's really hurting him. He's definitely strong in the right hands, but overall, I think the champ's struggling enough to the point where I'm going to put him fairly low down. Volibear is also going to be down here. Volibear is just struggling a lot at the moment. Doesn't really have a mythic, which feels great on him. You can go the Triforce with Divine Cinderer. Iceborne is probably his best mythic, but even then, it feels kind of bad going the item, as it's very armor heavy. Like, you're wanting to build it into AD comps, and you can't really play Volley into AP top laners. It also removes his blind ability. Trundle got slapped with some nerfs a couple patches ago. Really hurt his top lane. You can still go the Triforce and split push. You do beat a lot of tanks and a lot of bruisers, but he also has support. He's not very tanky at the moment, and he's not as strong as he used to be, so losing a lot of that core power was really brutal to him. Cho'Gath, even after buffs, still doesn't perform particularly well. The Winter's Approach buffs definitely help him. There is a chance I will move him up to the C tier on the mid patch, but for the moment, even like speculating onto patch 13, I don't think this champ is doing particularly well, and I wouldn't recommend playing him. Silas is a very counterpick heavy champion. He's a lot better in the jungle and the mid lane at the moment. You could go Liandry's Everfrost Night Harvester. Definitely play him jungle on the mid though. Unless you're playing into a Malphite, obviously, which is probably the reason you're picking him. Yasuo is definitely a lot better mid as well. Yasuo and Yone aren't doing amazing at the moment. They've had a lot better times, definitely. The crit, Shield Break First isn't as good as it used to be. Hasn't been great for a while now, but then it's still better than Bork in most instances, so it's kind of hard for both of them. But they would definitely rise if Shield sees buffs towards its early game and its overall strength. Lilia has been really badly hit by nerfs because of her being transformed into a melee champ to just overall synergize with her attack pattern better, and runes and stuff like this. Tenacity is also being nerfed next patch, and Jack Show. Demonix Rush is the way to go, but I don't see Lilia improving next patch. Definitely not. Renekton is down here as he's just not good. Like, for a solo queue heavy champion, well, people like to use him as like a brute force in solo queue. He doesn't perform particularly well, and I'm not a huge fan of the champion. His Prowlers and his Gore Drinker builds aren't doing amazing, and even when you're going the correct one, the Prowlers usually, still isn't performing particularly well. Cannon should go pro to bout, but it's sub 50% for a first item on a lane bully. This champ is just not doing well at the moment. He's got good team fight, but his laning phase isn't really translating into anything at the moment for how strong it should be. Karma's a champion which can possibly rise up, but I'm not seeing a lot of Radiant Virtue Karma. That's definitely her best way to go top. I think Moonstone also has windows where it's good, but I mean, if people itemize her correctly, she can rise. But that's the case with a lot of champions. I'm going based on their like general player base and what people are doing at the moment, rather than like Akali, who's really good with Night Harvester, would be a lot higher, like be possibly even creeping A, but I'm gonna leave her in the C tier because people aren't itemizing her correctly. Same goes for Yorick at the moment, actually. Yorick's really good with Triforce. People seem to go Cinderer a lot more than they really should. Triforce Yorick is pretty good, but Yeah, I don't like putting him on the same tier as Trundle because I think he's better than Trundle, but overall, Trundle does, Yorick just doesn't perform particularly well at the moment. Sejuani is being buffed with the Winter's Approach. That will be her third item most of the time now. I don't see her going up a lot, but it's definitely helpful towards Sejuani. Vladimir is not doing as well as he usually does, but you can go Night Harvest or Protobelt. He's still pretty good. Definitely. Yeah, he's a champion which you kind of have to play a lot to really get used to, like the farm pattern, stuff like this. Farming's really important on him, definitely. Night Harvester Gragas is also the way to go. Rumble is better in the mid lane. Yone, same reason as its brother, is, well, that's kind of why he's down here, but Yone is stronger in the top lane, is a bit more safer to play, and has a bit more strength in ways where Yasuo kind of falls a bit. Yeah, Yasuo is a lot stronger early than Yone, whereas Yone scales a lot better. Rise is kind of speculative. He might rise up into the B tier. We'll have to see how Roa and Archangels lands him, but there's a chance he could be really strong next patch. But for the moment, I've pushed him up one tier, but we'll have to see where he moves. Malzahar is not bad in the top lane, more of a counter pick, definitely. Graves, with Ravenous being nerfed as much as it has fallen a bit. You can still play him, but there are definitely better champs. Sion goes from E tier to C tier. We'll have to see how the buffs actually land him. But I still think he struggled, like his inherent weaknesses won't push him high enough. So I've left him in the C tier. Teemo with Nash's Rush is usually the way to go. Still isn't performing particularly well, so he's more of a C tier counter pick champion. Vayne is pretty good at the moment, actually. Shieldbow or Kraken both can work. Then you go into your Ginsu, stuff like this. KO, you can go Wits or Riftmaker first. Wits is a lot better usually. The AD KO is actually performing better than the AP KO. Gwen is a Riftmaker Rush champion, I believe. I think you can go Riftmaker or Nashers, but it's usually Riftmaker now. Let's have a look. Gwen is a Riftmaker Rush champion. Pretty good. Definitely more of a counter pick into tanks. She can usually shred them pretty easily. Swain is Swain can be blinded. Has the ability to go 4 roles, which makes him really strong. Also pretty good with Leandries or Rylai's first. Malphite is more of a counter pick, obviously. He's a very armor heavy tank. Ornn gets buffed with Winter's Approach being buffed. So does Malphite. Overall, both these champs kind of struggle with the current mythics, but with Jaxo being buffed, there's a chance both of them can creep into the A tier. But there are a lot of strong champs in the B tier, which is why I don't want to put them up just yet. Because the A tier is also pretty full at the moment. There's a lot of viable top laners, definitely. I got, especially with the nerfs, this is why there are a lot of champs which have like moved quite a bit, because a lot of the nerfs enable champs to come back into the meta. I got, for example, gets a lot stronger with Fiora being nerfed. Fiora can parry his E pretty easily. I got really should be Prowler's rushing. I mean, you can go Titanic into the more tanky build, but Prowler's Argot does perform the best, and it's pretty strong. Pathfinder can go Bulk or Eclipse, both are pretty good on him. Tryndamere is a Ravenous into Mythic. You can choose between both. Poppy is pretty good as a counter pick. Definitely good into like your Tryndameres, your Pantheons jumping at you, Aurelia, Fiora. Poppy's actually pretty good into a lot of champions at the moment. Can also be flexible with builds. Divine Sundara being pretty good, and Heartsteel. Heimerdinger, pretty good all-around top laner. You can go Ludens, Leandries, Rylai's on Heimerdinger. It'll work. Soraka. I'll put Soraka in B tier. I think Soraka is Soraka's a very good top laner, but you have to learn it. Soraka will always be here because I really like this champion. I think it actually has a really good place in the top lane, but people just sleep on it a lot. Maokai, pretty good at the moment. Definitely worth playing Maokai. He has a lot of options on what he can do. He can go Heartsteel, Jaxo, Demonics, Sunfires, Iceborne. There's a couple of options there. Victor, pretty good mage at the moment. Victor does pretty well in the top lane as a just farm and scale up. Also, Victor's pretty good in solo queue in general. Cassiopeia is more of a counter pick. Also pretty good at the moment. Roa might be her core mythic when it gets buffed. I don't think it will. I think the entry still will be her best, but we'll see. I think I'm putting Cassie here more because, I mean, even if Roa was stronger, I still think she would be a B tier champion. I think Riven, as the first of the 4 horsemen, can go here. I think Riven's definitely been better. I think Riven is still very good. I think Riven is a very hard champion to play, though, which is why I don't want to put Riven too high, because you have to put a lot of time into playing her, but she can definitely rise up tiers. Set is... Set has been someone I've been putting in A tier for a long time now, but I'm going to put him in B tier because people just don't build him correctly. People will just keep port crushing, and it's not good, but people keep doing it, so I'll put him in the B tier. Fine. He should be an A tier though. You can go Stride Breaker Rush. It's really good on the set. Kassadin has the possibility to jump into the A tier. Kassadin is really, really good at the moment. Roa and Archangels are being buffed and changed. And I think this will maybe give him the time to shine. Like, A tier possibly in the top lane. Really, really high for Kassadin. Cassante is pretty good at the moment. He's getting nerfed. And Jackson also being changed might hurt him. But I think just for nerfs alone, we'll put him down into the B tier. He's a very hard champion to play. Aatrox is someone I'm going to put in the B tier. I think the nerfs actually hurt his solo queue pretty hard. Plus, Jackson being changed is going to hurt him as well. I think he might fall down into the B tier. There's a chance he can stay in A, but they definitely hurt solo queue over pro. Definitely. Udyr is really sleeper in the top lane at the moment. Demonics Rush Udyr, really, really good. Don't go AD in the top lane. Go like the tank with the Demonics into the Jackson. I think that would be the way you play him. Pretty good at the moment, definitely. Quinn, also really good, strong at the moment. Really good Storm Razor abuser. Like, you go at second after you've gone Mythic, and she is really, really strong. Like a 59% win rate champ. Really good at the moment. Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench is very similar to Mundo in a way. But I think Tahm Kench has the strength of being AP, can go Demonics, whereas Mundo has the strength of being AD and can go Titanic. Both are pretty strong at the moment. There's a chance Tahm can be A. Mundo might also fall down a bit. But overall, Tahm's pretty good at the moment. Definitely a Heartsteel into Demonics champion. Gives him a lot of scaling. Aurelia. Even though Jaxo is being nerfed, I think Aurelia will stay strong. Because Bork into Wits or Bork into Shieldbow, Bork into Ravenous. She has a lot of options. All of them work pretty well. Vera, I think the nerfs definitely hit her. I think they will hurt her solo queue more than her pro play. But we will probably see a few out of pro play. And overall, just losing like a scaling with your AD on your Q and your passive definitely hits your damage and overall damage output. So there's a chance she falls down into B. She's pretty hard to play. Same with Aurelia. Action is also a really hard range top laner to play. He's stronger than Quinn if you learn him, but he has a lot of strengths. Definitely safe. Like, he's really safe. He's a good lane bully. Doesn't scale too hard, but there's definitely room there. Anivia could be S tier next patch in the top lane. Anivia is actually really good in the top lane at the moment. Roa Rush on Anivia is really, really strong. Plus, it's being buffed next patch. Archangel is also being changed. Anivia might be an S tier champion. For the moment, I'm going to leave her an A, but there is a chance, definitely. Definitely watch this champion and see how she performs. Wukong is pretty good. You can Ravenous into Triforce, Ravenous into Divine Cinderer. There's a couple of options there. You could also go like Lethality. He's pretty strong at the moment. Definitely worthy of an A tier spot. Garen is just a simple 53% win rate champion. He's very tight to Stride Breaker. You can go Triforce, but very Stride Breaker reliant. Pretty strong at the moment. Nasus is a very easy champion to play. His 6 and 9 spike are amazingly strong. He can win against most champions in the top lane. Divine Cinderer, Iceport, Triforce, all already good on him. Definitely consider playing Nasus. I'm probably going to add him to my champion pool for the season start. I really want to like bully people with his champion because he can really easily stomp games. Mordekaiser is a pretty good champion at the moment. He works into a lot of the bruisers and a lot of tanks in the top lane. He's definitely gonna get hurt by Jaxo being changed, but we'll probably see Rylai's Demonic into we'll go like Rylai's Demonic Riftmaker, I reckon. That'll be his standard core now. There's a chance he falls down to the B tier, but I think he holds a pretty good spot in the A tier. Jace. Jace is being massively buffed next patch. He will probably be an A tier champion. But like, if you're good at Jace, I mean, he'll be S plus tier. I reckon Jace will be the strongest high skill champ in the game, but you have to be really good at Jace. Jace is very hard to play, definitely. Jax is a speculative A. There's a chance he's overpowered. There's also a chance he could maybe be a B, C tier champ, but the overall kit changes definitely push him as being a stronger champion. We'll have to see where the ult overall lands him, because it's a lot of power to suddenly gain within your kit for a pretty limited amount of nerfs. Alawi is pretty strong at the moment. Just being able to balance your Q, one-shotting waves, and overall tentacle management is really important on this champion. Also pretty hard, so definitely a pretty big learning curve, but definitely worth it. Kled, really strong at the moment. Ravenous into Gorge Ranker, Ravenous into Eclipse are his best builds by a mile. Definitely try playing Kled. He's a lot of fun, and he does a lot of damage at the moment. His AD builds are really, really strong. Tank Kled is practically dead, but AD Kled is really, really strong. Gangplank. You can go... you want to go Essence Reaver into, like, Double Cloak Navori. It's really, really strong at the moment. It does a lot of damage. Your overall crit scalings and your kit are way too, like, they just incentivize crit way too hard. But then obviously you want to do that, otherwise you end up with Tank Plank and your Grasp Triforce builds, and he becomes a pro problem. But overall, Gangplank is incredibly strong at the moment. Definitely worth playing if you enjoy the GP. Mundo. So Mundo's definitely going to be weaker. Losing 0.5% health scaling into AD on the E is going to really hurt him. I still think he'll be good. There's a possibility he drops onto B. But just overall being like a counter pick champion as someone who just does a lot of raw damage in the top lane. Very health stacky, so he does lose to a lot of the anti-health stackers. I reckon he'll be A tier. There's a chance he does fall down to B, but A tier for the moment. S tier champs. So we're going to have Camille. Camille does an incredibly large amount of true damage. Beats most tanks. Very high skill champion, but overall, just a very, very reliable form of engage. It has good disengage, lots of damage, lots of options. Very strong champion. Olaf, also really, really strong at the moment. He's very good with enchanters. You can go Stride Breaker, you can go Crit Olaf, you can go Gore Drinker as a more sustained spirits build. You can go Ravenous Rush Olaf. Also has a lot of options. Rengar, probably, he's up there as being one of the high skill champs in the game, definitely. Even after the adjustments, he's still really, really high skill. But you're really rewarded for playing this champion well. Essence Reaver into Eclipse. So, he does so much damage. You can Palmer one-tap squishies. He has lots of lane pressure if you're using the bushes correctly, but very, very hard to play. If you want something easier to play, play Warwick. Warwick is incredibly sleeper at the moment. His champ is super, super strong, can bully most top laners. Even some of the best players, at the game, don't recognize Warwick's power and will continuously lose into this champion. He is super, super strong. Not even really a cheese pick anymore. He is just powerful. Has a lot of build options as well. Bork and Divine Sinner are both really good. Ravenous, Jack Show, lots of options there. And he just has a lot of laning power. Darius is probably the poster boy top laner for constantly having a place in the meta. They don't like nerfing him, and he's always near the top. So, very strong lane bully. Very few champs beat him early. If you're running Ignite and you're going an Ignite barrier combo, then yeah, you can beat the Darius, but Darius will just bully most top laners early. Pretty hard to play, but once again, another really strong top laner. Singed is incredibly strong as well. Demonics into Ryalize into Riftmaker. Or you Ryalize into Demonics into Riftmaker. He can go Jack Show. I don't think he'll be as strong in the next patch, but it's an option. But the trio of items on the Singed make him one of the strongest champs in the game. His playstyle, adaptability also makes him really good. He can proxy. He doesn't need to proxy anymore. It's no longer as reliant on something you need to do on Singed. But the overall power of having different variations in playstyle and disruption on the map makes him just a really, really strong champion. So he's going to stay in the S tier, and they do like to keep Sindra strong as well. Sindra and Darius, I already see getting nerfs, or if they do get nerfs, they tend to get buffed fairly soon afterwards. So they tend to be staples in the S tier. Same goes for Shen. Shen is usually the staple tank in the top lane. Heartsteel is really strong on him at the moment. You go Heartsteel into Demonics or Heartsteel into Triforce. Triforce is usually the better option. You can go both, but overall, Shen is just a really good top laner. His map presence is incredibly strong. And then Zac. Zac is going to be the go-to tank, I reckon, next patch. Zac is incredibly powerful in the top lane. He's incredibly powerful in the mid lane, and he's also incredibly powerful in the jungle. Zac is just really, really strong. He has a lot of options. You can go Heartsteel into comps which don't have a lot of anti-health stacking ability to kill health stackers. You can also go Radiant Virtue if you're in need of a more supportive build, which is cheaper. You can also go Jaxo, you can go Sunfires, you can go Iceborne. I'll probably recommend the Heartsteel into Demonics build. It gives them the most scaling. It's also probably the best for stomping low elo and climbing your way through low elo. And then as you go on, you can kind of adjust your builds to what you would prefer to play and what you feel like is stronger. But overall, definitely sort of the S tier is really, really strong at the moment. And some of the A tier can challenge them, definitely. But overall, the top lane is most top laners are pretty viable at the moment. Some of the C tier and up, the C tier and up definitely have a really strong place in the game at the moment. And as long as you're playing towards your comp and and you're just using your game knowledge, most champs do work. So play what you're good at. Definitely learn a champion and then just try and I don't want to say one trick it, but playing a champion over and over again definitely gives you a sense of comfort and reliability. So try not to broaden your pool too much. Maybe play a class, have some certain champs here and there. But overall, enjoy the new season. Try and climb. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.